Hi everyone. Hope everyone is well. As prophesied, a lot of news this week. First, the very bad news. Israel has broken their ceasefire with Hamas, a ceasefire heralded with much pomp by the current occupant of the White House as clear evidence of his unprecedented deal-making skills. Well, it appears his skills may have been a tad overrated, with Israel now resuming the bombardment and killing of Palestinians by their hundreds. In announcing the resumption of hostilities, wanted alleged war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu promised that the initial airstrikes were only the beginning and that any further ceasefire negotiations would take place under fire. Meanwhile, Defense Minister Israel Katz has promised that the gates of hell will open. And fuck me if this isn't what a gaggle of demons would announce before they begin descending and feasting on the battered corpses of the people of Gaza, then I don't know what is. Meanwhile, in Washington, far from sticking to the very ceasefire that they took full credit for and were celebrating just a month ago, they have now completely U-turned and assumed responsibility for breaking the ceasefire by admitting that they had been consulted before the airstrikes began. There goes the fucking art of the deal, I guess. Now, of course, the Israelis have begun arguing that Hamas was the one that broke the deal, which is complete bullshit, goes without saying, since Israel wanted to change the deal for another deal halfway through, which is not how you stick to a ceasefire deal. Wanting to exchange the second phase of the deal for a 30 to 60-day truce and the release of all hostages is what in the deal-making business you might call a dick move. So I'm very sad to say that I had a feeling that Netanyahu was 100% willing to sacrifice all the men who were left hostage, and I believe it's just men at this point, instead of, having to implement the second phase of the ceasefire deal, which would have encompassed the complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza, the release of all remaining hostages, and the cessation of all hostilities. Instead, the alleged war criminal decided to resume the airstrikes on by now primarily fucking rabble, and of course, a devastated, shell-shocked, emaciated population they hold completely hostage, has launched a limited ground operation to retake the Netzarim corridor, which they had withdrawn from during the first phase of the ceasefire. He's brought Ben Gvir back into government, along with the guy who wanted to nuke Gaza. They've killed a UN staff member and ordered about 150,000 people in the north and east of Gaza to once again evacuate their homes to avoid being trapped in a combat zone, suggesting ground assaults in coming days. And all that in 3 days' work. The master deal maker's response, who had once again taken full credit for brokering this deal, Pagol. At least Biden would have told us that too many innocent Palestinians have died. Maybe. So, dear viewers, I have to say, after witnessing his deal-making prowess in the Middle East,
Tunnels coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new light. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza number one.
I can't help but feel a little bit apprehensive about the next deal he's cooking up his sleeve with the great Vladimir Putin. Great Vlad, I call him. He's had the phone call, and then Zelensky called him up to ask, hey, we're still cool. Everyone's a little bit on ice on this. So after the high-stakes phone call with Vladimir Putin, it was revealed that Senor Putin had received Donny Boy's offer for a full ceasefire and instead countered with his own offer of a partial ceasefire focused on only energy infrastructure and maybe a maritime ceasefire. Now, goes without saying that this is better than nothing. And after his call with Trump, Zelensky also agreed to implement the energy ceasefire. We'll see if that happens. Fingers crossed. What worries me more, though, is how any actual peace deal and permanent ceasefire will be achieved when I actually look at Senor Putin's demands. Now, you may say he's negotiating, playing hardball, but after careful consideration, his demands are so ridiculous you'd think he had already captured all of Ukraine. First of all, because he smelled weakness there, the Russians are pressing for a full halt on all military and intelligence aid to Ukraine for a lasting ceasefire to be achieved, as if Ukraine is the one doing the fucking invading. Then they want a commitment to keeping Kyiv out of NATO, which of course completely nukes the European peacekeeping force plan, since most of those forces are in NATO. He also wants, get this, the demilitarization of Ukraine, a demand which, after invading the fucking country, sounds so ludicrous that he probably just added it for the shits and giggles. And he also, finally, wants full control of the four regions they invaded and annexed in 2022. Most people would have been content with just the four regions, but not the great Vladimir. In return, there are reports that Trump is considering officially giving Crimea to Russia. Now, does that seem enough to you to satiate Vlad the Conqueror at the moment when he has the military advantage? Forgive me if going by the last ceasefire deal, I don't have much hopes for the new one.